So
Yeah.
there's an interesting story in your book about the final setback in your career, which almost actually cost you your life. The bone graft from the first spinal fusion when it broke and the second operation. The story goes that when you were on the operating table, that you had your first out-of-body experience where you actually died. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, Emil Francis, if you could remember stuff like it, but for years, Emil Francis and Bill Jennings, the president of the Rangers, I was in the hospital for my second operation. This Japanese doctor, which had supervised the first one, and he wasn't happy with the result. He said, "I'll do it in about 4 or 5 years." I said, "No, you won't." You know how many? I was 2 months in the Mayo Clinic, and then I was 8 months without playing and exercising until I could skate again. So he said, when he cleared me for the first one, he said, "We're going to do it again in about 4 years." That they didn't do it right. I said, "Yeah, screw you, not doing it." So when it happened, I couldn't cross the street. I was so hurt. So then Yanagasewa, the Japanese doctor, says, "I told you. Okay, let's do it." So then he performed a spinal fusion, and then he didn't feed me solid food for 7 days because he was afraid. In the Mayo Clinic, I had developed staph infection. That's why the graft didn't take properly. Staph. And I didn't think I could get out of there because of the staph. I was like 19 years old. Right? So then, now I'm in the St. Clair's Hospital here in New York, and he performs the operation, and he wants to prevent the infection, so he doesn't feed me solid food, only intravenously, and he's given me 7 pills every 4 hours to prevent the infection. Now Emil Francis is in the room with Bill Jennings, visiting me, 2:30 in the afternoon. I start choking on the pills. The esophagus was totally closed up. So I start coughing, and all of a sudden, I passed out, and I turned blue, right? So now I hear Francis calling the nurse, he's panicking. He's looking at me, and I'm totally blue, and I'm out. I'm dead, actually. So she comes over, and she says, "Oh, no, I can't find his pulse. God darn it. I think we lost him." And I'm in the corner of the room checking this out. They're looking down the body. And I hear Francis tell the nurse, he said, "Well, bring it back, damn it. He's my best player." Right in front of, and I could hear it. And I'm gone. I mean, if I didn't want to come back, I was, I'm too young, 25, right? So then they give me the cardioversion, they shocked my heart, they restarted it, and then they give me a blood transfusion, and then I'm okay now. I came back. I've been back in my body. This lasted about 5 minutes, this whole procedure, that I was out of the body. And then I came back, and then I'm looking at Francis, and I said, "Listen, if I'm your best player, how come you're not paying me like your best player?" He freaked out. For years, he freaked out when he saw me. He says, you were dead, and you heard all that stuff. I said, "Yeah, that's right. And paying me." He was like Andy Badgate. I was making maybe 12,000, and the boys, Jacques Plante and those guys, they make 25. Anyway, so he didn't pay me anyway.